Hey, fourth grade, this is Mrs. Brand, and we are on to our lesson called Geometric Solids. And this is lesson 98. Okay, few things if you want to reference page 619 and 620, that would probably be helpful as you go through this. I'm gonna switch this over to my pen so that we can go ahead and write on this. Okay. So, geometric solids, something that's solid, right? Now, there's a few vocabulary words that we are coming to first, and that's face, edge, and vertex. Shape, edge, or face, edge, and vertex. A vertex in its plural is called vertices. Vertices. Now, I'm going to start with that one because this is what we call a corner. Oops. A corner. It's where two or more lines come together, and we call that a vertice or vertex. Vertex is where two or more come together, plural vertices, but it's basically a corner. Okay, right here is a vertex. It has this line coming with that line, coming with that line, and that's a vertex. Now, a face is the flat side of an object, the flat side of a 3D object. So the face is the flat side. Oops. Flat side. So right here, we've got a face. This whole thing right here. Okay, that's the face. If you could imagine that in your hand, here's one face, just like you have in dice. You have a flat top on, and then you have 6 different flat sides on the dice, and those flat sides are called your faces, the faces of the object. And then finally, it's the edge. The edge is just what it sounds like. It's where two or more faces come together. Here's a face, so this is an edge. This face and this face come together, so this is an edge. This face and this face come together at this edge, and the back one and the top one come together at this edge. So it's where two faces come together. Two faces come together right at that spot. Okay? Now, this object right here, we have a name for that object, and that object is called a cube. This is what we call a cube. Another word for it is also a rectangular prism. Rectangular prism. Okay? The reason we can call it a rectangular prism is because a square is a rectangle, and their 3D shape is called a rectangular prism when we look at it. But this is what we call a cube. It looks just like a cube. A box a lot of times is considered cube. A dice is a cube. So those are cubes. And we're going to take a look at some other shapes here. All right. So first of all, we're going to figure out how many faces this thing has. How many faces? All right. So I have a face that's right here in front. That's one face. I have a face on the side that looks like a cube. That's 2 faces. I have another cube face over there. That's 3 faces. I have a top and a bottom, 4 and 5. And then I have another side to match up with the side that I have right here. So that's how many faces? 6 faces. The front, the back, the 2 sides, the top, and the bottom. They all make up faces of this object. How many vertices are there? How many corners do we have? So let's just put little dots where the corners are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have dotted lines there because we don't actually see those edges or faces. So it shows the dotted lines that's in the background. I'm sure you know that from art anyway. All right, so how many vertices do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then how many edges? Let's see. I have the top right here, and then the back one, this one, and that one. That's 4. And then I have this one, this one, this one. That's 3 more. I have this one and that one. That's 2 more. I have this one here, that one there, that one there. That's 3 more. Let's add them up. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12. All right. So on this, we call it a rectangular prism because it looks like a rectangle. It is a rectangle on one face. Rectangular prism. This is what we call a rectangular prism. All right. So how many faces? 6. How many vertices? 8. How many edges? 12. I'm going to give you some equations that you can use, and we're going to see if this actually works. So if I have faces, I have 6 faces. Well, how do I get from 6 to 12? We could say double or multiply by 2. So I'm going to say, well, let's put it down here. Okay, so the faces times 2. I'm going to go back and erase that. I don't like it on there. All right, so we'll erase that. Okay, so faces times 2. All right, here we go. There we go. Faces times 2. How do I get from 6 to 8? We add 2. All right, let's say faces plus 2. All right, we're going to see if this works, because sometimes what we want to do is we want to see, is there some type of formula for figuring that out with different shapes? But most likely, what I want you to do first is just figure out what these are called. So we have a cube, we have a rectangular prism. Then we're going to look at this shape here. We might see this in our community on the top of a house. We might see it when we go camping at the state campgrounds, right? So let's figure out how many edges, faces, and vertices this shape actually has. Okay. So let's check it out. All right. I want to know the edges. Now remember, that's where 2 different faces come together. I have an edge here. I have an edge here. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I got them all. Those are edges. I have 9 edges. All right, I'm going to do an erase thing, and we're going to go back through, and we are going to take a look at what do we have for faces. Well, for faces, all right, let's go ahead and look for faces. Faces, 1 face here, its partner over there, that's 2. I've got the bottom that looks like a rectangle, that's 3. I've got the side over here, that's 4, and I've got the side in the back, which is 5. Let's just make sure that's correct. Think about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 faces. That edge thing doesn't work out, does it? How many edges we have as far as what we did here. Okay, but this is a rectangle. The other one has rectangles and triangles, so it can be a little bit different. All right, so for this one then, what we want to take a look for is how many, let's erase that, how many vertices do we have? All right, how many vertices do we have? All right, let's check it out. How many corners do we have? Corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 vertices. All right. So for this, we call it a triangular prism. A triangular prism. You see the triangles, they make up the shapes there. We have rectangles on the side and on the bottom, but this is what we call a triangular prism because those triangles are on those sides like that. Triangular prism. Okay? For right now, I just want you to be able to find the edges, find the faces, find the vertices, and know what it's called. Okay? A lot of this is just having a physical object in front of you. And seeing that. Okay, so going back here just a second, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces on a cube. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 edges. And then vertices, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Again, a lot of this is just looking at what we have in front of us. Imagine it being in your hand, feeling it, looking at it, noticing every side. So the edges here, we start with where do the faces come together? We have 1 edge, 2 edges, 3 edges, 4 edges, 5 edges, 6 edges, 7, and 8. So we have eight edges in this situation. I'm going to double check that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. And then the bottom one is 8. Okay, 8 edges. How many faces do we have? Well, we have to clean that up so we can see it a little better. All right, let's see how many faces we have. We'll get rid of all that blue. Faces we have. Okay, if we could look at it top down, we would see we have 1 in the back, 2, 3, 4, and then the bottom is 5. So we have 5 faces here. 4, the base, and then the 4 that connect to each side of the base. So in this situation, we would say we have 5 faces. Vertices, or vertex, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 corners in this situation. So 5 corners, 5 faces, makes a little triangular thing with a base on the bottom. So that is going to equal a pyramid. We call that a pyramid. Okay, a pyramid. Alright, so we had a cube, we had a rectangular prism, we had a triangular prism, now we have a cube, or a pyramid, pyramid. And our next one is called a cylinder. A cylinder. Now, a cylinder, what makes it a cylinder here, look at our face here. The face here is a circle. The face over here is a circle. Okay, so there's circles on either end, which means if there's a circle with that, we have 0 vertices. There aren't any corners in a circle. How many faces do we have? Well, I just gave you 2 faces there, but then there's the one that completely envelops the whole thing, so we have 3 faces on that. Edges, let's get rid of those circles I made there and see what we see with edges. Edges are where 2 faces come together. So I basically have an edge with the center and this side, and I have an edge with the center and that side. So with the cylinder, we just have those 2, 2 different places where we have edges for that cylinder. might think of where might we see this? We might see this as a can of some sort. A lot of times cans are like that, and we call this a cylinder, like I've been saying, cylinder. Okay. Next one, and the last one, is a sphere. A sphere. Okay, it's a sphere. And so a sphere has no faces, because there's no flat surfaces. And it has no vertex, because there's no corners. And that means it has no edges. No circle, no corner, no edges. Okay? No circle, no faces, no vertex, no edges. It's totally like our globe, right? So no face, no vertex, no edge. All right, and then this is a cone, right? A cone. A cone has a circular base, and then it has more of that triangular shape look to it. So the cone is going to have the circle base with the triangular top section to it. We think of it just like that, a cone. If we flip it upside down, it's an ice cream cone, right? All right. If we, let's see if this works. All right. No, I don't think we can use this right now. Maybe we can. Okay. So we can look at a shape and figure out things about it. If you click on this video, this part of the video, well, you can't because I'm right. But we can look at things from upside down, right side up. Again, you can see all the triangles that make up this object. Just kind of fun to look at and turn around. Tetrahedron, if we move that around, this is what we call a pyramid, right? This is just like a pyramid. And you can kind of see what it looks like. If you look up here, nctm.org, there's lots of different resources on that page that you can see and access if you want to later on. All right, so that's basically your lesson for today, looking at those different shapes and vertices. No homework on this. Just go over that and make sure you know your chart on page 619. I've had a great time doing this online, but I also really miss interacting with you. I hope you had a great school year, and this is our last math lesson for the year. So God bless.